Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Flight 96 podcast. I am your host, Hunter Foreman. First things first, I want to say happy belated birthday to Pop Smoke. Let's just dive right into it. The deluxe version of Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon came out. And while I believe that some of the songs sound a little bit of incomplete, I think it was a success. The sad part about this is that I actually decided to listen to Pop Smoke's music 2 weeks after he had passed away. He was just too new, and then all of a sudden, I see Meet the Woo Volume 2, literally all over my Twitter, all over my, hip hop websites that I use and go to for my information on everyday hip hop. And I just see that everybody's like, Pop Smoke is a star. And I either forgot about it or I would just kind of gloss over it. And when I saw that article it was a Friday night, I think, and Meet the Woo 2 had just dropped. And then I just looked at it. I was like, all right, I'm going to have to sit down and actually listen to this dude's music because I want to see what all the buzz is about. And when I listened, the first ever song I heard was Invincible. Meet the Woo, I listened to Meet the Woo 2 first, which is, I should have went Meet the Woo 1 and figure out where it came from. But I listened to Meet the Woo 2 and I was like, oh, this is something I've never heard before. Pop Smoke was the next superstar. I 100% believe that. And rest in peace to Pop Smoke. He would have been 21 on Monday. I believe that was his birthday. Anybody who knew him, anybody who saw him, anybody who was a fan of him, blessings to you because y'all were a part of something special. I know I was a little late to the party, but as soon as I, figured out what he was all about, man, I was like, damn, man, that's a star. That is a star. That man is a star. Damn, that sucks. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Long live the Woo. I listen to his music till this day. I've been listening to his music actually for the past this entire week. Just Pop Smoke. I mean, specific songs like Sweetheart. My favorite song is Armed and Dangerous. The Charlie Sloth freestyle that turned into a song. That Armed and Dangerous shit is tough. Very tough. Long live the Woo. Some more music that dropped within the recent weeks. The hip hop gods have looked down upon me and give me some really good presents as we got 3 songs for the first time in almost 4 years from Joey Badass, my favorite rapper. And I was blown away, but I want more. If that makes sense. I was blown away because he returned to a more polished sound that reminds me of this window when he was making the transition from Summer Nights to Before the Money. I've told this story multiple times, but I don't think I've told this part of the story. Everybody who knows the story of how I met Joey Badass when I went to his concert. My parents hooked me up for my 17th birthday, I think. My 17th birthday, I went with 3 friends who none of them hung out together. They knew each other, but none of them hung out together. I brought together this very interesting group. And those who are listening know exactly who those people are. But they came together for me, and I hooked them up with, VIP passes. So basically, we got to enter the building first, and we got to meet them after the show. Meeting your favorite rapper is you would think it's the most nerve-wracking thing, but for some reason it wasn't. I was so excited to meet Joey Badass, and I was able to, and I told him to his face that he was my favorite rapper. And of course he replied with, "Oh, that's love, man. Thank you. And it was like, damn, that's really cool. And then I remember dapping up Nick Caution on the way, like, you know, and then then yelling fly. CJ Fly walked to the bathroom. I was like, and then he was like, "What's up?" And I'm like, this is great. Everybody, listen, Avery, my good friend who was there with me, if he's listening to this, dude, you know, from literally the time we woke up to the time we came back, that was a fantastic day. That day, I remember what I had. I have such a good memory of that day. I remember what I had for lunch. I remember like all the cool stuff that was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. It was amazing. I had so much fun. But now he's back after years after he released All American Badass, which aged so well. Like, come on. Are you serious? That album was released. Let me double check my sources here. That album was released in 2017, and it is still relevant. In 2017. Are you okay? He makes timeless music. Every time I hear Waves, I think of nothing but positive memories from my summer, from a couple summers ago to hanging out with friends when I was a teenager. Anything good related in my life. Every time Waves comes on, it's like watching a slideshow. I discovered Joey, and as you can see, the reason, if you go to my reason why I listened to Joey Badass video, Joey's music came at a very interesting time in my entire life, in my life, and his music still speaks to me in that same communication. It still gives me that vibe of everything's gonna be all right. And that's what he did. He gave me bars, he gave me vibes, and he showed me why he's my favorite rapper. Period. I could give two fucks what anybody else says about him. That is hands down. I truly be honest. That'll hands down be a top 10 all-time great when this is all said and done. And speaking of all said and done, Logic. No Pressure. The final album from Sir Bobby. I was a fan of I was a fan of Logic. I mean, I won't say I was, but I am a fan of Logic. Everybody tells me that me and him look alike. I take it as a compliment because he's successful. Plain and simple. That's a successful rapper. See, when it comes to listening to other people's opinions, you have to learn how to just take them with a grain of salt. A good friend of mine told me that yesterday, to sometimes take people's opinions or whatever they say at the time with a grain of salt sometimes. You got to take it with a grain of salt sometimes. And that's why when someone doesn't like something that I like, I make the mental choice of thinking they're not me and I'm not them. They like what they like and I like what I like. I'll just agree to disagree and move on. Sometimes people don't do that. And while Logic, I have not been a fan of Logic's most recent projects. The last album I actually enjoyed was Young Sinatra 4. I like Everybody Dies. I like The Return. I like the old school drums that he or percussion. Somebody said that to me today as we were talking about music. I enjoyed Young Sinatra 4. The fact that it had a Wu-Tang record on it. The fact it had Young Sinatra 4, like the song. The fact that it remixed Icon, like it stayed to the true format and concept of Young Sinatra, and I was needing that because when Everybody came out, the album Everybody, I had high hopes. I was like, okay, this album is for everybody. Huh. Okay, so maybe he's gonna be experimenting just a tad bit. All right. And I listen and I'm like, okay, when the song Everybody came out, I was like, all right, it's Logic. It's okay, there's messages in these songs. He's trying to convey a message in every single song. Black Spider-Man is a great example. Even the song with Black Thought, No ID, and I believe Chuck D. In fact, he had Chuck D on an album. First of all, can we applaud Logic's able to get these types of features? His last album, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which, Logic, why did you try to... Okay, I just don't agree with that album. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm not trying to be that type of person, but like, I have to put on my hip hop critic hat for just a second. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, in my personal opinion, was Logic basically saying, all right, I'll make the music that everybody else is making with the artists that everybody else is working with. And on one, the only good song, the good songs that I like at least, is the title track, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I think the storytelling and especially the music video was really dope. Keanu Reeves, banger. Absolutely love it. First of all, 6 is one of the most... However he gets his synths and his sounds and the bass, his bass patterns and his synths that he's able to put together, and some of the sounds I've been able to hear in some of his beats, like, wow. 6 is one of the best, like, most underrated producers I've ever heard. Like, his beats for Logic are insane, and people forget to realize that. I mean, OZ did one of my favorite beats from a Logic album. If we go back to The Incredible True Story, which, yes, you hit a home run with that, Logic. Real shit. You really did. Like, you wanted to tell a story, but also give us good music at the same time. And you succeeded. And I would actually like to see the movie that's like that. The story. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, the album was supposed to be the movie, but I want to see, like, a visual. I can't. He's always talking about, like, directing films and doing all this stuff. I want to see a Logic film. Some of the ideas he said, some of the stuff he watches, like, makes me kind of think, okay, he's a really big Tarantino fan. So... and he can put together albums that can tell a really good story. Okay, I'm sold on a Logic film. Let's see. My favorite album will always be Under Pressure. Um, I mean, if we're talking strictly albums, my favorite project of his period, is the Young Sinatra, uh, Welcome to Forever project. Um, the Come Up was the one where I was like, I'm a fan of this guy. He rapped on like this OVO Drake, uh, started from the bottom kind of feel, and but he made it sound like a Logic song. And then you hear songs like Ballin'. Then you hear songs like then you hear songs like after he's gotten famous and after he's gotten number one albums. You hear songs like 44 More, where he actually does show us that he can actually rap. Like let's cut the bullshit here. I understand the worst verse I've ever heard was from Logic. It was when he rapped on that song with French Montana with Juicy J and A$AP Rocky. Why did you get on that song, Logic? Please, why? Please tell me. Please tell me. Why did you get on that song, bro? You had Joe Budden rip you a new ass because of that song, and I couldn't defend you because he was making the right choice. He was saying the right things. Like, I was like, oh, he's making points. Like, this isn't good. Like, this isn't good. This isn't a good verse. You're better than this. You just made a song. Before that verse, you made a song with all of the members of the Wu-Tang, and you actually held your own. And then you came out with Everybody Dies, and I was like, oh, rapping Logic is back, because that's all I want you to do on this next album, on this last album, on your retirement album. All that I ask is that you just rap. I don't want to hear you sing. I don't want to hear you try to over conceptualize this music. Just rap, bro. Give me that Under Pressure shit. Give me that Under Pressure shit. Yes, I mean, I take that back. Give me the storytelling, but give me that old Logic back. The one who's like, I can rap good, and my beat selection is very well too, and I have some of the best producers in house. Let me show you what the game is going to miss, because everybody knows this is Logic's retirement, and I think with the title of No Pressure, with the album cover, and with it tying to his first debut album on Def Jam, which was Under Pressure. Man. Logic is a really good storyteller. He can sell you on an album very quickly. If you are a Logic fan, you will love the fact that every album has some sort of concept. And if you listen to his mixtapes, the Young Sinatra mixtapes, he kind of put all of this, he kind of like foresaw all of this. He got a number one album, well deserved. It may have not been my favorite album that he put out, but he got it. Then he got a second one off of Bobby Tarantino 2. Then he came out with Young Sinatra 4, and people were like, oh, what happened to this Logic? That was mainstream. And nah. Well, then again, he shouldn't have released it the same weekend as Carter 5. And Kevin Gates, I believe Luca Brasi 2 came out that weekend. So I guess the timing was pretty bad on that one. But then the fact that Confessions of a Dangerous Mind went number one, I was like, I hate the fact that this is number one. See, I know what sounds good, and I'm sorry. Logic fans will go hard for him, but I'm sorry. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is not a good album. It's not. There's a lot of bad albums that went number one. I know that sounds really crazy. Uh, sorry. I know that sounds really crazy, but there's a lot. Blame It on Baby. If anybody tells me that whole entire album was fire, we're gonna have a serious discussion. Nothing Was the Same is to me Drake's my least favorite Drake album, and it went number one still. There's plenty of examples of that happening, but and then he did the Supermarket soundtrack, and I was like, all right, we're getting experimental. This is fine. I'm not gonna listen to this because this is not what I want to hear from Logic. So I'm gonna skip this one. And actually, I actually did. I tried to listen to it. I listened to one song, and I was like, nope, I'm good on that. I saw him in concert. Actually. Logic performs very well. I had a lot of fun in his show. He is such a man of the people. He loves his people. Like he's played in like playing people with like on in Super Smash Bros. And like Street Fighter and shit. Like it's insane. Like Logic literally painted his future and then lived it to make it become the present. And now he's done. He's done all that he wanted to do in rap. And now he's gonna go be a dad. And as a person who deems himself as to be a very positive person and very logically, wink wink, person, I can do nothing but respect that. Thank you, Logic, for giving us really good music that I can go back to, which people seem to forget when musicians retire. No, their music will live forever. I'm still gonna listen to the Young Sinatra series like it just came out. If I like this album, I'm gonna listen to it over and over again. And guess what? I'm gonna go back to the first album. I'm gonna go back to Under Pressure and play that, because that's the best part about music. It lives forever. It doesn't go away. It stays there. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, another beautiful thing, as we move on to the last segment of the show, J. Cole, sir, Mr. Simba, Mr. Grown Simba, Cole World, the leader and president of Dreamville. You have given us 2 singles from The Fall Off, the long-awaited album. Once again, great minds think alike. J. Cole's next album is titled The Fall Off. And if you look at his very first project, it was called The Come Up. Then The Warm Up. Then Friday Night Lights. Sideline Story. Born Center. 2014, Forest Hills Drive. For Your Eyes Only. KOD. And now The Fall Off. Which we've actually heard 3 songs from The Fall Off, because KOD, the very last song, 1985, isn't that in parentheses the intro to The Fall Off? It's weird how people don't tie these things together. Now, these 2 tracks, The Climb Back and Lion King on Ice. 2 different types of vibes. The fact that on Lion King on Ice, Jetson Maid is working with J. Cole. Jetson Maid having produced What's Poppin', and a lot of DaBaby songs, is making his way up the ranks in the rap industry and working with quite possibly top 3 rapper of the modern generation. A man who literally anybody, especially in high school, anybody who listened to J. Cole was a very motivated person. I had a couple of homies who listened to J. Cole religiously and tried to implement some of his lyrics into their ways of life. I can't name a bad J. Cole project. If you want to tell me that Sideline Story is your answer, I'll let it slide, because even I was very critical of the beat that J. Cole did with Mr. Nice Watch. I mean, that just is what it is. But then you got songs with Missy Elliott. You got songs with Trey Songz. You got songs with Drake on that song that definitely are some heavy hitters and some big point getters on the ranking scale when it comes to that album. And then you got Born Center. Born Center to me is my favorite J. Cole album. And because it has my favorite J. Cole song. And that's Land of the Snakes. Sampling and damn near just rapping over the Art of Storytelling's instrumental by Outkast. And then you hear that. And then you hear the evolution of J. Cole's music. And you start to think, he just gets better every time. Why? Like, he's never fell off. It's weird why he calls. I mean, I get it kind of. It's a little bit of a deeper meaning. It's kind of like a typical. It's basically the final chapter to a typical rapper's, career. There's the come up. You warm up. There's your big shot. You get sidelined. You start doing bad shit. You remember to go home. You remember who the real ones are. You tell them the error of their ways. And now in their eyes, you've fallen off. That's just my personal way of how the story has been told through the albums of J. Cole. And when I hear what he did on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, Grammy nominated. Beautiful. One of the most beautiful compilation albums ever. And I hear Under the Sun, and I get a happy, smiley feeling every time I hear that song. Because it's so beautiful. The sample, the verses, the rapping, everything. Kendrick's hidden vocals, dude, like it almost brought a tear to my eye. Because the song, because it took J. Cole. We all know he's a great lyricist. How is he going to snap on his beat? This beat is retarded. Boom, J. Cole out the gate. Then here comes Lute, a person who, when he got signed to Dreamville, I immediately gravitated towards him because he's a J Dilla baby. He's rapped over. I mean, the song "Still Slummin'" is an old J Dilla beat. That J Dilla left behind in his many of hard drives full of beats, and that is the type of hit. Lute's West 1996 Part 1 is one of the greatest mixtapes to never, ever be heard on a much bigger scale, because barely anybody knows about that mixtape. The mixtape is beautiful. It speaks to the type of hip hop that I love. And the fact that the baby, who's known for rapping and on these mainstream type 808 bangers, raps with J. Cole and Luke, and gives arguably one of his best verses in his career so far. Dog, hearing J. Cole's rapping on all of them, from Sacrifices to Middle Child to Down Bad to 1993. If I smoke a blunt right now, I'm gonna be on 285 with my pants pulled down around my ankles. Don't want to smoke. Gun smoking. Just smoke. Dog. Cole, and then Cole. Listen. Well, I shouted her out a couple episodes ago, but shout out to Paloma, because on 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which I now own on vinyl, there's a song on there called January 28th. That is one of the most honest and one of the most well put together and just feel good moments on that album. It's a timeless song. And the fact that J. Cole just gets wiser and wiser and more looks like the lion, becoming the lion. He started out as the cub, young Simba. Now look at him. He's the king now. He is a king. He is a full-blown crowned king of hip-hop now. J. Cole has made an impact. It may be brand new. It may be a fresh stamp. It may be a fresh tattoo on the skin of hip hop. But J. Cole has made his mark. And if he is to retire right after the fall off, everyone will remember J. Cole. Period. J. Cole, if you were to tell me that the fall off is going to be J. Cole's final album in hip hop, but he's going to take over Dreamville and build it up, I would be okay with that. I could, as a J. Cole fan and as a passionate J. Cole fan, I would absolutely take that. Because have you seen the talent that J. Cole has been able to scout? He gave us Jid. One of the best rappers from Atlanta right now. Period. He gave us Kaz from Cali, but doesn't rap like every single California person over there. Raps from the soul. All these soul rappers, man. Even Boz. Boz gave me one of my favorite songs ever. The Fiji Water song. Let me actually get the official title name because the name is escaping me. I think it's called... Yeah, it is called that. Fiji Water in My Iron. Fiji Water in My Iron is one of my favorite songs ever. Fiji Water in My Iron. Yo. J. Cole has an eye for talent. He learned from the greatest, which was Hove. And I think the game would just keep giving him gold medals every time. And I think it's time. I think if he were to retire, he'd be okay with that. He'd be okay to step aside and become the man who builds his empire until has got gray dreads and got a very long gray beard. J. Cole is one of the greats. And with these two singles, I'm really interested to see what the rest of this album sounds like. Because, first of all, you got The Climb Back, which, if my memory serves me correct, was solely produced by him. First of all, J. Cole's production game is nothing to be played with. YBN Cordae, Lost Boy, the track with RNP with Anderson .Paak, that was produced by J. Cole. Are you serious? J. Cole has produced damn near all of his last 3 albums. Actually, all of his albums. Because he learned, like, I could do this myself. I could just be by myself. A song written by J. Cole, produced by J. Cole. One more. I don't even have to. That's why I never trip about J. Cole not working with other producers or working with a whole lot of artists, because he gives you what you want and what you need as a hip hop fan by himself. If you were to tell me that and first of all, he's the king of these small albums. If he can tell a great story in 10 songs or less, you're a fantastic artist. Pusha T did it. He did it with 7. And Pusha T is one of the best lyricists right now. But J. Cole, see, I don't think he's going to give us. If he gives us, he'll probably maximum give us 14. He'll give us 14 songs. And it will be well thought out. It'll be polished. It will sound like a J. Cole that has evolved into a king. And we will all give it its praise. We will all say he went platinum again with no features, because I don't expect any features on this album. I really don't. If there is, I would actually be surprised. Even a Kill Edward feature, I know. But this is about Cole. This is about Cole going from young Simba to the king. Now, he has the throne right now. But in the words of a West Coast rapper, someone might have a bone to pick. Because he don't want you monkey mouth motherfuckers sitting in his throne again. Yes, Kendrick, can you please give us an album within the next 2 years? Please, I beg of you. Please, I beg of you. I just want one. That's all I want. I just want one. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Flight 96 podcast. This was a very hip-hop filled episode. I had to get my opinions off one way or another, because there's a lot of great things that are happening in hip-hop right now during these trying times. And I hope everybody is staying safe. I hope everybody is maintaining cleanliness, practicing social distancing. Please wear a mask. There are too many people dropping like flies from this. I believe that the coronavirus is real. And just stay safe, because I miss the outside world just as much as everybody else does. I miss being able to go outside and, maybe go for a walk and maybe go to the mall with my friends or take my new lovely lady on a date or something like that, where nobody has to be 6 feet away, or wear a mask before you get in there, where it can just be back to regular life. I miss it. I know everybody listening misses it as well. So just be safe. That's all I ask. I'm not going to sit here and tell you should do this, you should do that. All I ask is just to be safe. Be safe and work on yourself. During this, quote unquote quarantine, and, this soft quarantine or whatever, during this time period, I've been able to see things a lot clearer now. I've opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And I believe that once this is all over, a renaissance will happen. I mean, history's always repeat itself, right? Last time there was a plague, a renaissance happened. So work on yourself. So that way when the world does come back to normal, we can all be the best versions of ourselves. And we will be in for the time of our lives. Because all of us will be accomplishing things. All of us will be making ourselves better and making this world a better place. I'll see y'all next week.